Hello guys, so I'm doing another model related video, and as I have said in my last couple of videos where I've been on the roof, I have to apologize for sound, loud noises, the wind, the like lighting. I don't know how we're looking, but this is like the only place I have right now where I have a little bit of privacy to record, so that's where we're at. It's been a very long time since I've done a modeling video. COVID kind of ruined that for me. Last 6 months have just been weird, and I've not done a whole lot of modeling, any modeling, so there just have not been modeling videos. But today that ends. I wanted to talk about like my personal experience of how I got signed. Now this is obviously not going to be the same for every single person. Obviously everyone's story and come up whatever is going to be different. I just want to give you a general idea of how things came about for me, and because I do get messages like here and there like asking me this very specific question, which I thought that I kind of answered like in my other modeling videos, and if I have, I'm sorry for like regurgitating this information, but again, I get messages about it asking me this, so maybe I like wasn't clear, maybe I didn't discuss it, I don't know. So here we are. My very first point for this video though is a disclaimer, or you know, I just want to make this statement. I am by no means an expert on this topic, and I most definitely am not like super successful and wealthy like a model. You know my face, I have tons of followers, and like, no, far from it actually, to be perfectly honest. So you know, I do want to keep that in mind. I don't want anybody thinking that like this is coming from a place of me being like a know-it-all, and I'm in some kind of position to tell you. I've only been signed, so I can talk to you about that. And I do think that this is another important point to make, is that and maybe I was like a little bit naive or like a little too hopeful myself, but I think that a lot of people, and when I do get messages from people asking me about this, I think that they might have this idea in their head that as soon as you get signed, like that's it, that's your ticket to like wealth and success, and you're just gonna be huge right after you get signed. And the chances of that are slim. I just gotta be honest. Getting signed does not automatically equal like you're gonna be popping. Trust, because there's that much more competition after you get signed, because you might not even get called to a casting, and like that's like the entryway into work. So like there's a lot more barriers that come even after getting signed. So obviously getting signed is like a wonderful thing, amazing, awesome, congrats, but there's still so much work to be done. That is like literally just the beginning. But I want to end on a happy note of that point in saying that if you do work hard and you take it seriously and you network and follow some other things that I have on the list, you can be very successful. So let me just bring this back like a year, literally like a year. Last summer I decided I wanted to go on this journey. I started like working with photographers, like hitting them up, finding people on Instagram, messaging them, like people whose like aesthetic that I liked, and people that I thought that, you know, I would maybe have a chance of them saying yes to work with me, because I wasn't gonna pay people financially. I wasn't in a position to pay photographers, so you know, you gotta find people who are willing to do that. Can you not? So yeah, that's what I did. Reached out to different photographers that I liked, and was able to work with some really cool people, and I put together my portfolio. After my portfolio, and it was like a varied portfolio, I have to throw in, I think it's good to have like different types of photos showing that you like have a range. If all of your photos look the same, you know, you want diversity, okay? So I put together a varied portfolio, and so that fall and then winter I spent that time like submitting myself to different agencies online. And at the time I was working quite a bit, so it honestly, like all the days where agencies were having open calls, like I was scheduled to work. And so part of that, and then like partially me just kind of being like slightly lazy, slightly apathetic, I just like I didn't make it into agencies during that season. I was just submitting myself online, like filling out my information and then submitting some digitals online. Didn't hear from it. Well, I did hear. I heard from one, only one, and maybe it was like 20 different agencies that I had submitted myself to. One emailed me back and immediately said no. So there's that. And it wasn't until January of this year, 2020, of this insane year that we are living, it wasn't until January that I finally went in person to an agency, the one that I'm signed to now, and you know, brought my portfolio on an iPad, and within a couple days I got signed. And then within a month of me being signed, I booked my first job. For other people, you know, they could get signed one day, start working the next. For me, it took about a month, but and that for me was quick. Like I was so shocked. It all happened so fast and it was amazing, and I'll cherish that moment forever. And I'm really hoping that something else like that can come up very soon. So I just want to go over some other like little key points. I have like some bullet points here of like important things that I think will help in your journey if you are trying to get signed. I have these as two separate points, but I'm going to combine it. Be prepared and be smart. Okay? So when I say be prepared, like have your stuff together, have a portfolio like ready to go. I just got like really scared. I thought somebody just like shut the door and like locked it, but they didn't. We're good. What was I saying? What was I saying? Okay, yeah, be prepared. When you go to an agency, when you go in person, have your portfolio like printed out, like nice high quality prints, have it on your phone or like an iPad. Like when I went to this agency, like this girl just showed up. I mean, luckily like she had her phone with her. I mean, obviously she had her phone with her. Who doesn't have their phone these days? But okay, what I'm trying to say is she didn't have a portfolio. Like she just like showed up and was asking like the rest of us in the room like what to do or like what they were gonna look at. And when I told her like, oh, like I have my portfolio here like on the iPad, and she was like, oh my god, like I don't have that, like what do I do? Don't be that person. And let me tell you, they immediately told her no. They looked at her Instagram and was like, no, we're not interested, and handed the phone back to her, and like that was it. So come prepared, okay? And then with that, be smart. Like there's so much free information on the internet, and there's so much that you can find out in regards to modeling, how to get started, how to make your own comp cards, how to network with photographers. Like there's so much information out there. So it's kind of strange to me when I get messages from people on these certain topics, like stuff that's so easily Googleable. You know, like what do I do? How do I take pictures? How do I work with photographers? How did you do this? How did you do that? Like, I don't want to be a jerk. Like I do enjoy being helpful and answering people's questions, but some things are just like, oh my gosh, like come on. There's a thing called Google, free information all over the internet, like go find it, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean by be smart. As I mentioned before, networking, reaching out to photographers. If a photographer has like 500,000 followers on Instagram and like they're like a working, well-known photographer, probably don't want to slide in their DMs and ask them to work for free. That's not gonna happen. Find a photographer in your area, go on Instagram, go to like the search or your explore page or your little search whatever, search tags. If you're in Chicago, search the hashtag Chicago photographer. If you're here in LA photographer. That's what I did. Look through different photos, see which ones you like, see how many followers they have. If they have like, I would say maybe like 3,000 and under, I think that that's fine and fair to like hit them up and be like, hey, look, like I'm, you know, like trying to work on my modeling portfolio. If you're interested and want to collab, let me know. Feel it out, and also kind of judge based on like their posts, what they have in their bio. Some people will flat out say, I don't work for free. Don't message them asking to work for free. Don't do it. But if you see on their page that they seem to collaborate with other people, they shoot a lot with different models, whatever, in that case I think it is safe to hit them up and be like, hey, if you're ever down to shoot, let me know. I'm building my portfolio, maybe you could do the same. That's how you network with photographers. Really quite simple. And then speaking of Instagram, have your page be public. If you really, for some reason, are hell-bent on having it private, go ahead, but I just don't think that's a good idea. And I'm not saying that you need to like stress out and spend hours like molding this immaculate like image of your page and your feed has to be all aesthetic. It doesn't have to be like that, but if you're taking photos on a flip phone with like the built-in Instagram like filters, those aren't good photos, okay? Like, work hard to like take good photos. You don't have to have some huge elaborate setup to do so, but like, again, like, be smart, use your head, really ask yourself and try to be objective. How does this look? Does this look good? And I don't ever want to say compare yourself to other people, but like sometimes it kind of helps when you're like trying to judge your photos, the quality, what you're putting out there, how you're portraying yourself. Like, look at like models that like you look up to or you think are successful and like you are interested in having maybe a similar career path, and be like, okay, this is like what, or this is the work they're doing, this is like what how their photos look. Mine aren't up to par. What can I do to get them to be of similar quality? I don't want that to come off as like saying you need to be like other people. You don't. I'm just saying, like, what do successful people do, and then emulate that. So again, if your IG is a little dry, the photo quality isn't there, or it's just straight up weird, work on it. For real, because agencies, brands, photographers, like, they all look at your Instagram, and if they come across it and see that like it's like low quality, it looks weird, whatever, they're not gonna want to work with you. Oh, this is one I had to learn the hard way. Don't use brands, or sorry, don't use companies or people who claim that they can help you to get signed. Don't use these people who are like act as middlemen between you and then the modeling agency. I had somebody, and as much as I want to be petty and just out this person and lay it all out there, I'm not gonna do it. If you want to know what the page is so you can steer clear, you can hit me up on Instagram and I'll tell you who it is, but I'm not gonna put it in the video. It was actually like December, the December before I got signed. I'd been like in talks with this page. I thought it was like a full team. It wasn't. It was scam artist here. It was just this one weirdo guy who pretty much just like hits up aspiring models and claims that, you know, he can help you grow your modeling career, and they do all the footwork to help you get signed, and he's in touch with all these different modeling agencies, blah blah blah. Makes all these pie in the sky promises about what they can do for you, or what he could do for your modeling career, and of course you have to pay him. Very long story, somewhat short. I did all this, I went through the motions, I paid this idiot. It was like 150 bucks, but still, like, if you're broke, that's a lot of money. Thinking that like he was gonna put me in touch with different agencies, and he even took some digitals for me on his iPhone, by the way. Took digitals for me, and it took me 4 months to get the digitals back. And to this day, I've not been submitted to any agencies, and every time that I've tried to contact this person and be like, hey, what's the update, I either don't get a response or I get a passive-aggressive response from this person. So that's like my little story time of stay away from these stupid people and pages that claim they can help you get signed. You don't need them. You can do it by yourself, because I did it. I was so fed up and annoyed. In the end, I just took things into my own hands, went to an agency, and 3 days later got signed on my own. I didn't need this person helping me to do so. So stay far away from those people, those places. Not all of them are a scam, but I would say 9 times out of 10, it's a scam. And then the last point that I want to make, very important one, get used to a lot of rejection. I get it all the time. I've gone to castings and auditions, never hear anything back from them, but that's just a part of the business. So just, it's not like a measure of like your worth or your talent. It's just, it's like that. There's so much competition, and sometimes for certain agencies or certain projects, they're just looking for a very, very specific, unique type person or whatever, and you know, they're just, you might not fit that specific description. Again, it's not to say you're not good enough, it just, that's just not what they're looking for at that specific point in time. So you just have to keep going, keep working, and keep pushing, and eventually something will come of it. So I hope that you found all that rambling helpful. If you have any other questions, go ahead, leave it in the comment section. Again, you can message me if you like, but please, if you are gonna message me, have it be like a unique question, maybe something I haven't answered. Preferably something that you can't Google. I don't mean to be a jerk, but it's just, you know, again, there's so much information out there that's very easy to find online. That's what I did from my journey, my getting signed journey, and working towards that. All of the information I think I needed, like, I found it online. So anyway, I hope that you found it helpful, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.